I have a friend who has done a research project on a marginalized group, and she was told by a supervisor to think about her privilege in relation to that group. And I thought, okay, but this person is creating a research study to support that group. Are you saying that you have to, before she's even started the study, say like, oh, I have to acknowledge my privilege in in opposition to this group because I'm not in it. And I think that is just it's reductive, and it's really unfair, I think, to constantly what feels like penalize people for being different, and to then say you have to repent for being more privileged, especially if you're going to research that group. Yeah, I think it just pulls away from the open-mindedness and the approach that you should be taking as a researcher rather than a political agent, which is kind of, I think, what they're trying to get at, is to always think about this from a political perspective, because with power comes responsibility, I think.
Yeah, that is really interesting. It seems like there's kind of a tendency to kind of, I call it calculating someone's intersectionality score. So I would look at you and say like race, gender, sexuality, religion, disability status. I would kind of calculate that all up, and then kind of subconsciously or consciously in my mind, that determines how I'm supposed to treat you. Does that kind of check out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Every time I see that, the phrase I think of is atomization of identity. It's like
Mm.
constantly sections and subsections of, and because we talk about the social graces a lot, which you might have come across. So it's like always thinking about every checkbox really of identity, breaking someone down. And I think that it's sad to kind of come at it from that perspective and say, I'm going to add a tag, every single tag. We how it's presented to us is that you have to think about that into it in order to acknowledge difference. I think the other extreme is you are already, to me, it is prejudice. You're prejudging, you're adding judgment, not judgment in terms of putting them down, but you're making an assessment of them before they've walked in. That their race is significant, their age, where they come from, all those kinds of things. It's much better to be led by the client than to have filled in all those boxes, even if it's just in your head, and say, well, given this mix, I'm going to assume certain things about you. And in my view, even by applying those labels, you're then implying, that label tends to mean this, or this label tends to be thought of in that way in the culture. And so then you're connecting the client with all of those associations, whereas they might have no meaning to them whatsoever.